What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Life of a Champ podcast, episode number 95, talking about how to enter your divine masculine. Now, this is one that I've definitely wanted to make for a little bit now, but quite frankly, I needed to, fully internalize what that felt to me personally, right? I feel like this is also going to be something that means something different to every single person, and also something that you should probably define for yourself as well if you don't already have that defined for yourself. So, I'm gonna give you my definition of what that looks like and kind of how I applied it to my life. And then, like I said, from there, if you're watching this for the first time and you've never defined that for yourself, then hopefully I can give you more of a solid foundation of what to build your definition from, right? I'm gonna go ahead and define what divine means to me, right? And everybody's gonna have their own definition of what that looks like to them. But I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it as it is within my own definition, how it's applicable to the situation. So, for example, my definition of divine is going to be the highest form of being. So this is going to be the ultimate pinnacle of when it comes to be or when it comes to being a man, right? And what it takes to be a man and all the qualities that would qualify you to be what I would deem to be a man that is in his divine masculine. And then being masculine can be defined by many different things, but I'm going to give you a quick kind of rundown of what I would define masculinity to be or to be defined, right? So that's going to be defined, like I said, by many things. You can kind of define it with action taking, seeking a higher purpose, and doing work even when you don't feel like doing it, and also taking care of the ones around you, and protecting and providing for them as best as you possibly can. So with that being said, when it comes to being in your divine masculine, so putting those both together, it's gonna look something similar to this. I'm gonna go ahead and name some traits that I would like to define divine masculinity by. So that's going to be risk taking, assertiveness, action oriented, discipline, having confidence, having a goal or a mission in mind or a purpose in mind, and also using logic. That's the way that I would describe it best. With that being said, so me, for example, right? Like my previous definition of masculinity, right? I wouldn't say that I have fully entered my divine masculine, and that is because part of that is being a father and taking care of your woman, right, and providing and protecting for them, right. And obviously I'm pretty young, I'm 21, so I don't have a woman to take care of, or I don't have a family and children to raise and protect and provide for. So I can only speak from a lens that isn't exactly within the divine masculine, but without having those, I do believe that I have entered a form of divine masculinity, and I definitely want to talk about that today because most people watching this are probably not fathers themselves, and if you are a father, then I would hope you could take something from this podcast when it comes to my other attributes that I would define divine masculinity by. So, with that being said, I would say I've adopted most of the qualities besides the paternal aspect of that, which, like I said, is protecting, providing for your children and your wife as well. But with that being said, the way that I see it, right, this is something that I would hope for you to go ahead and do for yourself. So, like I had mentioned, this is going to be action taking. So, um, make sure you're going ahead and taking action, even if it's uncomfortable, right? Doing the things even when you don't feel like doing them. That's super important, and I cannot emphasize that enough. It is one of the biggest lessons that I've learned within the past 6 months is doing it even when you don't feel like doing it. So whether this is whatever objective that you have for the day, make sure you go ahead and put the work in, right? It doesn't matter how you feel, truly. It truly does not matter how you feel. Because there's other men that are great at being men and they do it specifically even when they don't feel like doing it. So you must look at that as an ideal and say, "Hey, I need to still put the work in, right? I need to still put the work in." And this is something that I reiterate many, many times on this podcast, but I want to reinforce this message because the message is of such importance that I need to go ahead and reinforce it. So with that being said, take more risks in this life, right? Especially if you're young watching this, you must take more risks, more than what you're taking right now, and get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I'm sure you watching this probably have heard that before, but truly internalize that and apply that to your life, right? So if you are what you would define to be a super comfortable spot right now, then obviously you need to add some more discomfort because that is where the most growth is going to happen is when you are uncomfortable because it's going to demand a side of you that you maybe have never even seen before. It's gonna demand a better version of yourself to step up to the plate and go ahead and handle what you need to handle. So you must, yeah, you must get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and from there, that is going to be a step in the right direction of getting into your divine masculine. Along with this, which is going to be one of the most important things that I can emphasize on this podcast specifically. Give me one second. And this is something that I've talked about on the podcast before, but I haven't made a specific podcast for this one topic. And I'll probably would do it eventually. It'll probably be after the 100th podcast. Or not right after, but eventually after the 100th podcast. And it is something that I would recommend every single man watching this to go ahead and do. And if you're not doing this, then you are what I would deem to be a lame, in my opinion, quite frankly. And I will not want to say I will look down upon you, but quite frankly, I'm not going to see you in the same light as I would see somebody doing this action. And this is going to be retaining your masculine energy and not uselessly wasting it. So if you want me to get a little explicit, right? Don't be like I said, I don't even want to, man. Just don't be out here, messing around with people who are low quality. Let's just say that. Or rather, wasting your energy to your right hand man, also known as your right hand, right? So don't be out here having this selfish pleasure. Hopefully, with me defining it like that, without me having to be too explicit, you understand exactly what I'm trying to say. So do whatever you got to do when it comes to trying to get past the beast of lust. This is something that I've talked about previous time on the podcast, is conquering the beast of lust, and this is something that I think I have done. And there's going to be moments in time where the beast is going to get big again, and then you must defeat it once again. And I'm in right. I can speak for myself right now, which, like I said, is part of the divine masculine, in my opinion, is getting over those selfish urges and impulsive urges, and tapping into some self discipline. Quite frankly, tapping into putting that energy that you could be wasting into something that is of much greater value than just a 10-second high or a 15-second high, right? So with that being said, that is going to be another element of what I would define to be divine masculinity, is not wasting. Exactly. KT already knows what time it is, man. Um, that is what I would define to be more of the divine masculine. And there's going to be men who are high value men that won't say this, right? They will refuse this because this is something that feels uncomfortable and feels like, quite frankly, they cannot do it. And this is something that you must conquer when it comes to being the most complete person, the most complete man, in my opinion, and tapping into the divine masculinity. This is something you're going to need to do. And I don't want to hear any excuses. I don't want to hear any excuses at all. I just want you to go ahead and try it out. And this is something that I've been doing and I've been on the process of doing for, let's just say, probably about 3 or 4 years now. This is something that I've been, at the very least, conscious of. Maybe even longer than that, quite frankly. Maybe, yeah, probably about 4 or 5 years. Honestly, that's kind of crazy to think about it. But with that being said, if this is a new idea to you, to not be, being a little monkey and taking care of yourself, right? Let's just say that. Then this is something that I'm going to go ahead and suggest for you to go ahead and apply. And of course, there's going to be rough moments where you're going to not be able to conquer the beast of lust, and the beast of lust is going to absolutely violate you. Let's just say that. With that being said, you must, like I said, I don't want to hear any excuses. You must figure out a way to get past it, because this is something that once you get past it, you will. I won't say you'll never face it again, but you'll get stronger. Your self discipline will be more there, and with the presence of self discipline, especially in that area, you're going to be better off, in my opinion. So, like I said, tap in with that for sure, and you will be one step closer into your divine masculine and feeling that energy, feeling the energy truly. And that's something that I'll emphasize later on. But yeah, so that those are going to be the first two aspects of what it looks like to me to be in your divine masculine.